Hello, my friend.
Can we start moving in?
Patrick.
Patrick.
Who you videotaping for?
Secretary?
Who?
Secretary?
Secretary.
She's on the panel.
Okay. That coming up. Is that the only portion that you're videotaping?
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and
You need me
get
to-
started
you want me to
with
do
our
something?
next
Do
speaker.
you want me to wait for somebody?
Me? I'm up next.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
You want me,
We're gonna go ahead and get started with our next speaker.
you want me to, give me a copy?
Please.
Can you give me like a...
Right now, we're about to move over and learn how to flip the switch from an idea to implementation. We have given you a lot of information on how to get started. We've given you a lot of information on getting certified in a way that you can compete competitively, and also to even just get your business started and up and off the ground. But there are some people who have have ideas in their head, and I know if you're like me, I have ideas just popping up every day. But it's a matter of trying to figure out how to implement those ideas. And we have Mr. Patrick Alcorn here to give us a presentation on doing just that. Mr. Alcorn is the Texas Veterans Commission Veteran Business Consultant for North Texas. As such, he is the primary point of contact for veterans and their family members interested in starting, growing, and thriving businesses as owners in North Texas. Mr. Alcorn has served 9 years in the U.S. Army, including his time in the United States military at West Point, where he completed his bachelor's degree in engineering management. After completing his master's in business administration, Patrick joined the adjunct faculty at the Tarrant County Community College District in support of the Dallas-Fort Worth District Office of the Small Business Administration and Tarrant County Small Business Development Center. Today, Mr. Alcorn is an adjunct faculty member at the at the University of Texas Arlington, a successful small business owner, a licensed financial professional, a co-author of 2 books, and a certified John Maxwell teacher, speaker, leader, coach, who shares practical information with veterans who are serious about starting and growing a profitable business. Mr. Alcorn is the 2006 Small Business Administrative DFW District Veteran Small Business Champion of the Year. Without further ado, I welcome Mr. Patrick Alcorn.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Now I know right now some of you are thinking, oh no, he did not just start this presentation with a cliche but classic quote from Shakespeare. Some of you didn't even know it was Shakespeare. And more of you don't even care. Whether you know or not, or care or not, your answer to the question is critical. Because see, to be or not to be is no longer the question. Because the fact of the matter is that you will be. The only question is, what will you be? Will you be an employer, or will you be an employee? Will you be an entrepreneur, or will you continue to do what it is that you have always done, so that you always get what you've always got? I'm going to talk to you about taking this ideal from your head and actually executing the ideal. I'll make sure I know how to work this thing properly here. I think I just push one of these buttons. One of these will move me forward. Not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. Let's try this one. That one. Well, you can just walk over to the computer. So I'm going to give you a 4-step. Well, Yeah, I'm going to give you a 4-step strategy on how to get this ideal from your head and actually execute it so that you actually begin to live your dream and do what it is that you came here to do, to be an entrepreneur, to have your own business, to be your own boss, and to run your own show, and to do all the things that you were created to do and so forth. And this 4-step strategy is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to give you an acronym. The acronym is FLIP, F-L-I-P. I've already revealed one of it up on the board for you. The F is focus. The biggest challenge that we run into day in and day out as a business consultant, helping entrepreneurs who have ideas in their head and want to bring it to the market, is getting them to focus. Terry mentioned from the SCORE today that helping people to figure out what their value proposition is. What is it that you're bringing to the market? See, everybody drinks water, but not everybody buys bottled water. So you have a great idea and you're in love with it, but the world is not in love with it and so forth. And the biggest challenge that I run into every time I'm talking to someone who's wanting to start their business and wanting to get things off the ground and want to bring something to the market is, well, you know what, I really love children, so I want to do this daycare, and you know, and I got this idea for this nonprofit, and you know, I'm in the clothing too, so I'm thinking I'm going to open a clothing store with food served out the back of it, and it will babysit some children in the corner of the room. And you can't start a business that way. Can you end up with a business like that? It's possible somewhere down the line. But when you start the business, you got to have focus. You got to have focus. The very first business that I started in 2003. I was in the pharmaceutical industry. I worked for Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. At the time, it was the #1 pharmaceutical company in the world, and it had won that ranking 7 years in a row. And in 2001, 2002, and 2003, I was their #1 specialty sales representative across the nation, 21,000 representatives. So in 2004, I left to start my own business. I started a business to train people how to be successful in the pharmaceutical business. So think about what you need to focus on. 2 things you need to focus on when you start a business. 2 things and 2 things only. Focus on what you do best and what you enjoy doing most. What you do best and what you enjoy doing most. Those are the 2 things you need to focus on. One of the speakers today made a comment and said, if your background is in maintenance and transportation, why would you start a restaurant? It's not what you do best. It might be what you enjoy doing most, but you need the combination of both. You need the combination of what you do best and what you enjoy doing most. Why is that? Because when you start this business, you're going to live this business. You're going to eat this business. You're going to breathe this business. You're going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning even if you went to bed at 4 o'clock that morning, thinking about your business. Your loved ones are going to hate you for a minute. Your kids are going to miss you for a minute. And no one's going to know who you are. You'll lose all your friends here, all because you're focused on this business for that short period of time. So 2 things to focus on. Focus on what you do best and focus on what you enjoy doing most. So I started this company to train people how to be successful in the pharmaceutical industry and how to get into the pharmaceutical industry. And I did that from 2004 to about 2007. So I did that about 3 years. During that time frame, though, I had gotten so much money from my rankings in the pharmaceutical company that I learned how to invest. I learned how to trade options, so forth. And I love it. I love investing. So I'm a licensed financial advisor, Series 7, Series 66, all the things I need to do to help you be successful with your money. But across the board, my focus was on helping folks to be successful in pharmaceutical sales, successful in the industry. But in the back of my head, in the back of my heart, I wanted to do something else with my business. So I shifted my focus after I got that business up and running and got a couple other people on board to keep that business sustaining itself, and then I started a financial services firm. Notice what I just said. I focused here, got it up and running so it sustains itself, and then I went to my other business. Some of you guys are thinking about nonprofit. Nonprofit people need money too. So you're thinking, I want to start this nonprofit. I don't have to worry about getting money and so forth. Well, your customer is whoever's providing the money to you. That's who you're marketing to. That's who you're selling to.
The client that you serve is not your customer. The client you serve is who you serve. But your actual customer are your donors. It's not the benefactors who's receiving the benefit of your nonprofit. It's the donors who's giving you the money to support your nonprofit. So as a business owner of a nonprofit, you're still in the business of marketing your services and marketing your program to the folks who are going to give you the money. In other words, it's all about the money once again. It's going to always be about the money. Now, whether you profit or non-profit, it's about the money. So my point here is focus. Focus on what you enjoy doing best, on what you do best, and what you enjoy doing most. All right. Secondly, after you focus, did I hit that right? Come on. Hey, down. It's not moving. Somebody else moved it. All right, what comes after F in the word flip? L. L. So let's just do that. L. The L is for leverage. Leverage. Three things you want to leverage. Three things you want to leverage. The first one is leverage your time. This is a big one because we all have the same amount of time, 24 hours a day. You have it, I have it, we all have it. The difference between the person who's successful and the person who's not successful, the person who wins and the person who doesn't win, the person who excels and the person who doesn't excel, the difference is how they leverage their time. We all have the same 24 hours a day. Watch this. There's 168 hours in a week. You do the math on that. 24 hours a day times 7 days a week, 168 hours a week. If I give you 40 hours to go work on the job that you work right now, take that from the 168. Somebody do the math on that. And then I turn around and I give you 60 hours of sleep. Wow, I'm giving you a whole 60 hours. Why do that? 7 days a week times 8 hours a day is what you're supposed to get. I know we're not all getting that, but I'm going to give you 4 extra hours to catch up on the weekend. So I'm going to give you a full 60 hours of sleep. So I just took away 60 hours for sleep. I took away 40 hours for your full-time job. I'm going to give you 20 hours to do whatever you want to do from a leisure standpoint. Somebody doing the math? Somebody keeping track of all this? We started at 168. We took away 60. Then we took away 40. Then we just took away 20. All right? That 20 is to do whatever it is that you want to do with it. To go play, to go golf. I'm going to give you another 20 hours. Another 20 hours for you to just go and catch up on all the things, all the logistical stuff. So that's the bathing, the eating, the washing, the commuting, all the stuff that you have to do just to live life. Now we got some parents in here, right? We're parents, grandparents, whatever, and that's part of your commuting stuff. I'm gonna give you another 10 hours for that. I'll give you 20 hours for that. Somebody tell me where we at in math. How many hours for that? Huh? 8 hours. 8 hours. See, I'm going to tell you, this is about how to take it from your head and how to execute it, how to get it done. So you got 8 hours left in the week. What do you do with your 8 hours? How many of you watching TV during that 8 hours? That's just 1 hour a night. You know the average American watches, what is it? 4 hours of TV every single day? Soul, the daddy's soul, the sister's soul, my soul, your soul. They got chicken soup for all of us. So I said, Jack, how do you do this? Jack said, you know what? I went out here and I said, what's your name, sir? Jefferson, you got a story you might want to share with me? Any story, just tell me a story. And your name? Patty, you got a story? In your name? Karen, you got a story. And Jack went out there to ask all these people for their stories. Then he took these stories and he put them in a book. Took everybody else's story and put it in a book. What's that called, number 2? Leverage. That's called leverage. Leverage. He leveraged his time. Leverage your time. 168 hours a week. The first book that I wrote, Jack said, Patrick, here's what you do. He said, you set a set amount of time aside every single day and just focus, number 1, on the book. So I took 10 minutes. How much time did I take? 10 minutes. I took 10 minutes every day for 3 months, and all I did was write. That's all I did. 10 minutes every day for 90 days. 3 months. 10 minutes in the morning. Get up, set my little kitchen timer, 10 minutes, whatever came to my head. I wrote for 10 minutes. 10 minutes is up. I'm going on with the rest of my day. Tomorrow, I woke up 10 minutes. I'm going on with the rest of my day. 90 days later, I wrote my first book. It was done. What did we just do when we did our math? How much time do you have every single day? You got 1 hour left, right? What could you do with that 1 hour? If you, number one, if you focus. The problem is we're not focusing. That's why we can't get it out of our head. That's why we can't get it done. We're not focused. Because we're busy. Oh, I got to take the kids to work. I got the kids to school. I got to do this. I got to clean this bathroom. I tell my wife, babe, okay, we clean the bathroom. We clean the bathroom every day. And then we have this high maintenance day on Saturday where we really, really clean the bathroom. Baby, the bathroom will only be as clean as it's going to be. And the rest of the house will only be as clean as it's going to be. Why don't we do this? Why don't we set up a pattern? We pick the living room. We do living room on Monday. We'll do the dining room on Tuesday. We'll do the family room on Wednesday. We're not trying to do the whole house every single day. So leverage your time. So that's number 2, right? Leverage your time. I'm running fast on this to try and catch us up. So leverage your time. That's the first one. The second one is leverage your relationships. This is so critical. LinkedIn is so critical. Facebook is so critical. I'm not going to be on Facebook. No, you don't have to be on Facebook like that. But you need to be on Facebook. See, you know, I got a niece who graduated from Howard University, and she put all her personal business on there. And I called her and said, baby, don't do that. She said, Uncle, but he made me so mad. I said, that's between you and him. Don't do that. Don't tell the rest of the world what's going on with you, because the employer's looking, your customers looking, the contractors, everybody. So don't do that. But you need to be on Facebook. You got to leverage that relationship. Facebook, LinkedIn, all the other social media platforms out there. How many of you got cards from the people that spoke here today? How many of you got contact information from the people that spoke here today? How many of you are connecting with the person that's sitting next to you today? I tell you, I'm telling my wife, she'd get mad because it's on video, but we sat in a church out in Rockwall, in that church for 5 years, and my wife did not know the person who sat on the left or the right of us or the person in front of us and back of us. I know everybody. That's who I am. My wife, you know, she's kind of quiet. She can keep it to herself and so forth. But I know everybody. I try to meet everybody, I try to interact with everybody, because I try to bring value to other people's lives. In some way, shape, or form, I want to bring value. So leverage your relationships. Leverage your relationships. Get to know people. Don't waste time. Don't waste time going to every single networking event that's offered on Meetup and all the other places that you go to. And there's a lot of them out there. And let me tell you real quickly how you leverage that. When you go to a meetup, don't try and walk around the room passing out cards and meeting everybody in the room. Take the time to build a relationship. Spend a couple months in that meetup at the very least before you move to another meetup at the very least. Don't just pop in from meetup to meetup passing out cards. Go in here and there may be only 2 people that I meet today at this meetup. And we just going to interact. I'm going to get to know them and figure out how I can bring value to them. Because see, if I'm in the process of giving, I'll be getting all day long. Hello? See, if we all did that, if we were all in the process of giving, we'd be giving all day long. We wouldn't have to ask for stuff. So as you go into a network meeting, don't be so focused on what you bring, but be focused on what they need. As you go into a networking event, what is it that you need? How can I bring value to your life? How can I help you with what you're doing? And those are questions you want to ask in a networking meeting. So leverage. The next one, FLI, implement. What's the Karen, Zarin said it right here. It's so critical. He said that people will go in and they're registered for the city of Dallas and get all registered, but then they never compete. They never bid, so on and so forth. You go back to the second one. You just blew leveraging your time. You wasted all that time going in to get certified or whatever else you needed to do, and then you didn't compete or bid. You have to immediately implement. So here's what I want you to do when you walk out of here today. When you walk out of here today, at the very, very least, decide what 3 steps, what 3 actions you're going to take as a result of what you gathered here today, what you learned here today. Don't just do it as a decision in your head, but actually put it on your calendar to get it done. So the day you came in and you said, you know what, I heard from Zarin over at the city of Dallas, and he said that I need to go ahead and I need to get registered. Open up your calendar, Pick a date and say, I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna get registered here. We heard from the gentleman that spoke from the certification program. I'm sorry, Andre. We heard from Andre just now, spoke about certification. If you need to get certified, don't keep it as a note in your notepad. Open up your calendar and write down on your calendar the date that you're going to get certified, and then get online or call or whatever you got to do and schedule that class. Tony Robbins says it's not real until you schedule it. Mm-hmm. We can think about it all day long, but until you put it on your calendar, it's not real until you schedule. So immediately implement, get it done. The biggest challenge entrepreneurs have all day long, I was speaking with another gentleman, we'll keep names out of it, but I'm working with a veteran right now, and I work primarily with veterans. I work with everyone, but the state pays me to work with veterans, so I didn't really actually work with veterans. But he said, I'm working with a gentleman right now who's a full-time student. I mean, that's not what he is in real life, but that's what he is in real life. He's got this business that he wants to start, and all he does is keep going to class after class and workshop after workshop and, you know, getting this counseling after this counseling. When you gonna just start the business? Right. When you gonna just go do the stuff that you learned? You walk out of class today, and class today says fill out this form. At the very least, fill out. Really need 8 hours of sleep, right? So on and so forth. My wife gets all of hers. But at the very least, you know, leverage your time and then immediately implement. Do it right now. Don't ever walk out of an event. Don't ever walk out of a workshop. Don't ever walk out of an interaction with another person and say, you know what, I need to get his card, but why you want my card? Huh? I asked Andre, I said, Andre, you got a card? So Andre said he's going to go out to the car to get his card. Now, how stupid would it be for me to get his card from him, put it in my Rolodex, and never use the card? That just don't make sense. I'm going to get his card. First thing I'm going to get his card. Today is Saturday. First thing Monday morning, Andre going to get a call from Patrick. Immediately implement. You guys got to do that. Don't just take the card for the sake of taking the card. And the last one up here, I'm going to be quick. Here's the last one. This is persist. I believe the gentleman who was sitting here, Olin, is that how you say his name? Olia?
Yes, Oni.
You guys know how to say his name.
Yeah.
But he says, he said this, persist. It's so critical that you persist. Your business is not going to come alive overnight. All right, remember? I take 10 minutes a day for 90 days to make that book happen. It was persistence, but you've got to persist. I'm going to tell you a quick story and then I'm going to close with it like this. I used to coach I've always been heavily involved in what my kids are involved in. And so when my son was 8 years old, he was a Texas Amateur Athletic Federation, TAF, state of Texas, 800-meter run champion for the state of Texas. 8 years old, 800-meter run champion for the state of Texas. I coached him to be able to do that. And I coached a bunch of other kids in the city of Arlington. We had the state championships were down in Corpus Christi, Texas this particular year. And before every single track meet, they do like a little exhibition race. So they bring all the little kids from the stand. And they put all the little kids down there at the starting line, and these little kids are getting ready to run a 100-meter dash, so on and so forth. And so my daughter at the time was 3 years old. And so she's in the little exhibition race. And so she gets out there and she's lined up on the line and so forth. A bunch of other little kids about in the same age group before the actual track meet starts. And the gun goes off. And all these kids take off running. My daughter gets about 10 steps and she falls down. Other kids still running, so on and so forth. My daughter just gets back up and she starts running some more. And she probably makes about another 10, 15 steps and she falls down again. She gets up and by now everybody else will cross the finish line, all the other kids. But my daughter she falls again. And just a few more steps and then finally she crosses the finish line. You know what Dad did when she crossed the finish line, right? I mean, I'm just going crazy. And everybody in the stands is going crazy with me. Why? Because she finished the race. She finished the race. See, D.H. Grossberg, I'm going to try to, I used to love this. I'm going to grab my phone real quick because I know it's on my phone. I used to know this by heart and I hadn't shared it in so long and I thought about it today and I said, I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this with you guys real quickly. But D.H. Grossberg wrote a poem. It's called The Race. And I'm going to try to remember it as best I can so that I can get to the finish line here. But he wrote a poem called The Race, and it really mimics what just happened in my daughter's life, or what happened in my daughter's life. He says, quit, give up, you're beaten. They shot at me and plead, there's just too much against you, this time I can't succeed. And as I start to hang my head in front of failure's face, my downward fall is broken by the memory of a race. A children's race, young boys, young men, how I remember well. Excitement, sure, but also fear. It wasn't hard to tell. They all lined up so full of hope we start to win that race, or tie for first, or if not that, at least take second place. The whistle blew and off they went, young hearts and hopes of fire. To win and be the hero there was each young boy's desire. But one boy in particular, whose dad was in the crowd, was running in the lead and thought, my dad will be so proud. But as he speeded down the field across a narrow dip, this little boy lost his step and slipped. But as he fell, his dad looked up and saw his anxious face, which to this boy so quickly meant, get up and win this race. And this boy in this poem, he actually gets up and he falls, and he gets up and he falls, and he gets up and he falls 3 times, and he says, I might as well quit. I might as well quit, the race is over. They cheered the winning runner as he crossed the line, first place. Head high and proud and happy, no falling, no disgrace. But when this fallen youngster crossed the line last place, the crowd gave him the greater cheer for finishing the race. For all of life is like that race with ups and downs and all. And all you have to do to win is rise each time you fall. That's how you're going to get to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you get your businesses up and running. That's how you're going to go from idea